Stop explaining yourself. There comes a moment in every person's life when they realize something uncomfortable. Not everyone deserves an explanation. Many people spend years exhausting themselves trying to justify every decision they make. They explain why they changed careers, why they ended a relationship, why they set boundaries, why they stopped answering every message, why they finally chose themselves. But no matter how carefully they explain, some people will never understand, because understanding was never their goal. Judging you was. This is one of the greatest drains on your energy. The constant need to defend your life before people who have already decided who you are. The Stoics refused to live this way. They understood that your peace disappears the moment your happiness depends on everyone's approval. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself that people would misunderstand him, not because he was wrong, but because every person sees the world through their own beliefs, fears, and experiences. You cannot control how others interpret your actions. You can only control whether your actions are worthy. That changes everything. Imagine an ancient oak tree standing on a hill. The wind does not ask the tree why it stands there. The rain does not demand an explanation. The tree simply grows, quietly, patiently, confidently. It does not stop reaching toward the sky because someone dislikes its shape. Neither should you. Many people explain themselves because they fear rejection. They hope that if they choose the perfect words, everyone will finally approve of them. But approval built on endless explanations is fragile. The moment you stop explaining, those who only accepted you conditionally begin to disappear. And perhaps that is exactly what needs to happen, because not everyone is meant to stay in your life. Some people only loved the version of you that was easy to control, the version that always said yes, the version that apologized for having needs, the version that sacrificed peace to keep everyone else comfortable. The moment you begin living with conviction, some people become uncomfortable. Not because you changed, but because your confidence exposes their insecurity. And then they ask, why are you different? Why don't you call as much? Why won't you do what you've always done? You owe honesty. You owe kindness. But you do not owe endless justification. Every minute spent defending a healthy decision is a minute stolen from living it. Epictetus taught that if someone misunderstands you, that misunderstanding belongs to them unless you have acted without virtue. Think about how freeing that is. You are responsible for your character, not for every opinion someone forms about you. The strongest people are often the quietest. They no longer feel the need to convince everyone that they are right, because truth does not become stronger when it is argued endlessly. It becomes stronger when it is lived. Imagine a lion walking through the wilderness. It does not stop every few steps to convince the sheep that it is powerful. Its presence speaks louder than its voice ever could. Your life should do the same. Let your discipline explain you. Let your consistency explain you. Let your integrity explain you. Let your actions become your greatest argument. Far too many people waste years trying to manage their reputation. The Stoic manages something far more important: his character. Because reputation belongs to others, character belongs to you. People will gossip. People will invent stories. People will criticize choices they secretly wish they have the courage to make. You cannot silence every voice, but you can refuse to let those voices control your direction. Every explanation you give should come from wisdom, not from fear. Ask yourself honestly, are you explaining because someone genuinely deserves clarity, or because you desperately want their approval? Those are two very different things. When you stop chasing validation, something remarkable happens. Your mind becomes lighter. Your confidence becomes quieter. Your decisions become clearer. You begin acting from principle instead of pressure. And that is real freedom. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire, yet even he was criticized. If one of history's greatest leaders could not escape judgment, why should you expect to? The goal is not to avoid criticism. The goal is to become someone whose values remain steady despite it. There will always be people who misunderstand your silence, who mistake your boundaries for arrogance, who interpret your peace as weakness. Let them. Your responsibility is not to control their story. Your responsibility is to live your own with honor. Stop explaining every chapter of your life to people who never intended to read the whole book.
The people who truly matter will recognize your character without endless words. And those who refuse to understand would not have understood, no matter how perfectly you explained. Walk your path, protect your peace, live your values. Because in the end, a life well lived will always speak louder than 1,000 explanations.